SummerSlam Night Two is in, and boy, was it a crazy one. Some surprise returns and some great bouts. And we're about to talk about it today. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Collard Greens and Nerdy Things, your one stop shop for all things nerdy. I am your host, King, and this is my partner in crime, JC3. And today we are talking about WWE SummerSlam, a two-night event. And today we are talking about night two. So if you like what we do here on the channel, don't forget to follow us at Collard Greens TV or like, comment, and subscribe. The whole deal. Come hang out with us. We'd love to hear from you. So, with no further ado, let's get after the first match today. And that first match is going to be Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles. Jay, kick us off. What'd you think of that match?
Man, let me tell you, out of all the matches on the card, this is the one that, I was excited for it, but I was kind of like, it'll just be there. But honestly, the match gave me way more than what I initially thought it was going to. Mainly just because we got a lot of callbacks in this match from previous SummerSlams. You know what I mean? Like I believe AJ Styles was sporting some gear like from that Eddie Guerrero had from SummerSlam in '05, I believe. And the funny thing about that is that was the same SummerSlam where Eddie Guerrero was fighting Rey Mysterio in a ladder match for custody over Dominic. So now here we are all these years later, and now AJ Styles is riding out with his son and Eddie Guerrero's lowrider. Just it was just so awesome. I mainly love the match just because the whole thing just felt like a tribute to Eddie Guerrero, one of the best to ever do it. We had a really nice chair spot where Dom was acting like AJ hit him with the chair and tossed it at him. Then AJ just puts it over his head and then falls right down. So the referee turns around. He's like, "Who did what?" Like I love stuff like that. It just brings it back to how it was back in the day. And I would say probably my favorite spot in that whole match is another callback, not even the SummerSlam, but another Eddie Guerrero match that he had with Kurt Angle. I believe it was at WrestleMania 20 because Dominic ends up unzipping his boot. And while AJ has the calf crusher on him, the boot slips off, which allows Dominic to get the pin on AJ and retain his title, the same way that Eddie Guerrero did at WrestleMania 20 against Kurt Angle. So this match had a lot of love for wrestling, also the lucha style of wrestling, which is great because we're going into this new era with AAA, which I think possibly may be headed by Dominic Mysterio, given the crowd reaction that he's gotten. Shout out to him for getting all of that, considering this dude was getting booed out of the building like a year ago. And now, anytime Dominic shows up, people love him. I know a couple people that still don't like Dirty Dom because he gets too dirty. But I love Dirty Dom, and I'm glad that he retained. I really, really enjoyed the match, man. What you think?
Uh, I want to really echo some of the things you said because this definitely felt like a nostalgia match. You definitely had AJ Styles wearing the pants and the ring gear of Eddie Guerrero coming out in the lowrider with his son. It was a lot of setting up, a lot of really cool things that happened back in the day. And of course, what you mentioned, the chair thing, that was a Eddie Guerrero signature move of, hitting someone with an object and then laying down on the floor and then pretending like it happened to him instead of the other person in front of the referee. So I love that they did that. And then, like you said, at the kind of apex of the match, when we had the calf crusher in and the slip of the boot, even AJ himself was like, man, that was classy. That was a good one. So I thought it overall was a fun, good match. Now I knew Dominic Mysterio was probably going to retain. It was either going to be through that or the Judgment Day was going to show up. But I really think overall they gave us a good match and some good fun and a good bit of nostalgia. So I really enjoyed that match. It was a really fun one for night two. So let's move on to another fun one that I know you're going to really like, and that was the Women's Intercontinental Championship. held by Laura Vicarian, and her opponent this time around was Becky Lynch. Or vice versa, actually. It was Becky Lynch holding the title and Lyra coming to get her title back with the stipulation that if she loses, she can never fight Becky again for the title. So tell me what you thought of that match. I thought it had some interesting stipulations and it was pretty fun.
I thought the match was excellent. Shout out to Becky Lynch for her new theme song. I believe it's by the Wonder Years. Uh, when I first heard the music, it wasn't hard to know whose music it was, considering it starts with the man has come around. But honestly, I really dug it. I really enjoyed her new entrance music. I feel like it might take a little bit of getting used to compared to her old one, just because I've heard it for so many years. But it won't take too long because I was actually rocking with that, man. So shout out to her. This rivalry between Lynch and Valkyria has been pretty deep. They've been going at it for the past couple months now. I've been enjoying the rivalry. I love Valkyria as a talent. Story wise, I feel like she's just been a little bit too hot headed, a little too annoying in regards to this Intercontinental Championship, specifically costing Bayley her shot at the title. So I was kind of rooting for Becky in this. We got a great physical bout between the two, lots and lots of kendo stick shots. Um, Speaking of callbacks, when I saw when she had Valkyria zip tied around the turnbuckle post and she was hitting her with the kendo sticks, it kind of reminded me of the rivalry that Cena and Orton had years ago in an I Quit match, and Orton was doing the same thing to Cena. So nice little callback there. We had some interference from Bayley, but honestly, not what I initially thought. I thought that Bayley was just going to straight up try to screw Valkyria over. But she actually tried to help her, get the belt, or at least, find a way to interject herself into the match. She did the wrong way, I guess, because she ended up hitting Valkyria square in the face with the steel chain and allowing the man to get her Beck's bottom off for the 1, 2, 3. So I think that this was a really good match with, again, another good callback. And it didn't extend the rivalry between Becky and Valkyria. I think that this probably sets up a rivalry between Bayley and Valkyria now, which I hope Bayley wins, because I believe Bayley deserves her flowers and deserves an Intercontinental Championship run at some point. But I really did enjoy the match, and I love the two talents involved. What about you?
So I want to touch on something you had mentioned, and that was, of course, that Becky Lynch is debuting a brand new entrance song. Now, for me, I love her old entrance, so I wasn't digging it as much. I think it's something that's going to have to grow on me. Like the music itself was good, but I'm so used to her original music that the whole time I was kind of like, oh man, I want the original Becky song. And then Lyra, I'm not gonna lie, I love her. I'm starting to really like enjoy her presence, enjoy what she has to offer. She's a great in-ring talent. I can't stand the woos. The woo during her song, I can't stand it. It seems to bother the hell out of me, and I don't know why. But they had a great physical match. The tying of the hands was fantastic, and it really showed that, excuse me, that Lyra can get it done no matter what. Hands tied behind her back, she can still wrestle. She can still get shit done. So I really enjoyed that aspect. Now, kind of different from what you said, I thought when Bailey popped up, I kind of automatically knew that it felt to me like she was going to definitely go more towards Becky Lynch and that, rivalry that they've had for the past some odd years. So I kind of expected it in that fashion. I was a little disappointed that Lyra didn't get her belt back, and I love Becky Lynch. I'm a huge fan, but I was really ready for Lyra to get that belt back and see some more newer talent with newer people. Where as much as I love Bex, we've seen her pretty much fight everyone on the roster, so a little bit less excitingness comes of the run. But I love Becky, and I love what she's got going next, and I think that Becky and Bailey will get into it. I think eventually Bailey will take that belt, and then maybe it'll be Bailey versus Lyra, and then she'll get the chance to get that belt back later on in the year, maybe WrestleMania, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, so somewhere around there. So I thought all in all, it was a good match. I had fun with it. It definitely wasn't like a boring one, so I enjoyed. But the next one is a pretty big match, and everyone, please stick in there with me. I've got a lot of names to rattle off right now, so let's just go with it. This is the 6-man tag tables, ladders, and chairs match with the Hardy Boys and the Dudleys in the crowd watching. And it was crazy. So the participants in this match was the Wyatt Sicks, the Street Profits, DIY, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Gun, and then Andrade and Ray Phoenix. And that was a crazy 6-man tag. So tell me what you think, Jay. What'd you think of that one? Because it was pretty much one of the highlights for me.
Oh man, that match was insane. That like they say a lot in the industry. Oh man, it's a demolition derby. It really was. Like so much happening, so much going on in this match. I feel like out of the tag team division, the SmackDown tag teams are like more exciting than the Raw tag teams currently. I feel like they just have more going there. I mean, obviously they're the ones that got this big spot, this big match, which is very well deserved. I love each of the tag teams. Even Andrade and Ray Phoenix, even though they're relatively new and they were put together, I think they gel pretty good. I still can't wait for Penta to be with his brothers so we can have the Lucha Bros and we can have a good time with that. But they work well as a tag team so far. I thought the match was very good, very brutal. We had a lot of table spots, we had a lot of chair spots, we had a lot of people climbing ladders and not knowing how to take down 2 belts and then getting pushed off the ladders into tables. Speaking of which, shout out and much love to Candice LeRae. This is Johnny Gargano's wife. She interjected herself into the match, which is crazy. More people came into this match after there were so many people in it. We had Candice LeRae come in, B-Fab come in, Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan. Everybody was in this, man. Even Nikki Cross, too, from the Wyatt Sicks. But shout out to Candice LeRae for taking such a crazy spot through the ladder. She was on top of a ladder trying to help her team win, and I forgot who pushed her off, but whoever did should be ashamed of themselves, because this tiny little woman just flew straight through the ladder, like, and was done. It looked gnarly, like, and I have it. It's in my head. Montez Ford's reaction to it, just his eyes just wide open, just couldn't believe what he just saw. That spot was the most insane one on the card. But shout out to them for adding that and getting as many people in there as possible. I am satisfied with the Wyatt Sicks retaining. I figured that would happen. I was rooting for either the Street Profits or Fraxium to win, because I feel like those are the 2 most deserving teams to win that belt. But I think that it works for the Wyatt Sicks to retain. I mean, even how the match started, you had all the teams after Gacy, and his partner in the Wyatt Sicks. So that just shows you how much of a force they're trying to make the Wyatt Sicks, to where everybody has to jump on them in order to win. And they didn't. They still got it done. So proud of the Wyatt Sicks, happy for the win, happy with the match. What you think?
One of my favorite matches, easily. I mean, it had hands down the most action, and like you said, Candice LeRae. For those who watch wrestling, she wasn't just like high up on the ladder; she was on the top of the ladder, holding on to the actual tag belts, about to take it off the hook, when she got shoved all the way to the floor in front of the announce table. So we're talking about a good 20-foot drop. It was a crazy spot. And shout out to her for being able to do that, And Johnny kind of looked at her and was like, oh, still got to win this match. So it was kind of
Good
a
job.
fun, right? Good, funny spot. B-Fab definitely jumped in there. Uncle Howdy took some time up on the ladder and he almost got it. and I figured, hey, dude, it says Wyatt Six. It doesn't matter which two of the Wyatt Six, just two of them, two of the six. So it was a fun match. And like you said, you don't think that you could add in more people after 12 people already are in the ring, but they sure did add in about four more people. And it was such a fun match. They had this one moment where almost at every turnbuckle, there was another big spot happening at the same time. And I really got to give some love to Angelo Dawkins. He was up on the turnbuckle. That's a big boy, you know what I mean? Ex-football player for the Bengals, like big boy. He ain't got no business being up at the top. And he works out this move into a Spanish fly and hits the floor. I mean, kudos to them. It really showed that Angelo could also do some of the crazy spots that Montez Ford is known for. And Montez did one of his famous spots that I love, which is jumping from the turnbuckle onto the ladder and climbing up the ladder to stop someone from getting the belt. So fun match. I was having a good ass time. It definitely felt like this was a lot to watch, but the way they orchestrated it was very well. And like you said, I have no issues with the Wyatt Six retaining. I love the Wyatt Six, so I'm happy to see them hold the belts for longer because I think that's going to open this up for some really good storylines with the Wyatt Six. And also, like we said, they any of the six members essentially could hold those two belts. So you could almost every week have two different tag teams that you're going up against, which would be an interesting dynamic that I don't think we've seen WWE do. So I love the match. It was definitely probably my second favorite out of the entire night. But let's move on to the next one. And the next one is the Women's World Championship triple threat match with Naomi, the reigning champion, against Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Kick us off, Jay.
Man, I think that this was probably my second favorite match of the of night two. Just because of the talent involved, story that's involved. You have Naomi coming out with her special entrance, getting to have her dad play his guitar for her during her entrance music. And I love that just because you could tell, like, putting heel stuff aside, putting bad person stuff aside, whatever, you could tell how happy she was to have that moment with her father. It almost seemed like she wasn't gonna be able to get down to a ring for a minute because she was too busy jamming to her daddy. You know what I mean? So that was a very good moment. I'm happy that she got that. It also just showed how special her title reign is, and I'm very happy about that. A lot of people still continue to underestimate Naomi, and I think that's a mistake. She's worked her butt off, and she definitely deserves this. So I'm glad she got that moment. Uh, what more can we say about Rhea and Io? You know what I mean? Like these two women are great in their own rights, but the rivalry that they have with each other is so cool. And it's cool because it's not like there's any heat. You know what I mean? It's not like there's any animosity. It's not like, oh, I hate you, you hate me. They have a healthy respect for each other. And Rhea just hasn't beaten Io by herself. So that's just the main goal that we see that Rhea has. I would say one of the spots in the match that definitely had me like, oh, you dirty, is when Naomi was biting Ripley's finger after trying to counter a superplex. That, that definitely got some reactions from the crowd, including myself. They spent a lot of time trying to keep Naomi out of the match, which is smart for her character in order for her to win. But when they had Naomi out for a second, and then we got that stare down between Rhea and Io, and the crowd just erupted. That just shows you the amount of hard work that these women have put in to get this spot and to be in this moment. So that I absolutely love that. I love the showdown that they had with each other. And I love how the match also progressed the story forward as well, because once again, Rhea was this close. She was this close to beating Io. She gave her a riptide off of the top turnbuckle, and I think we both know she would have had that. But right afterwards, Naomi interrupts and actually rolls Ripley up for the 1-2-3. She rolled up Mommy for the 1-2-3 just to solidify, like, I can pin the top woman in this industry right now because I'm that good. I'm the champ. So I'm glad that she was able to get the pin on Rhea and retain and walk out the victor, man. That match was damn near perfect to me, and I absolutely loved it. What you think?
I'd have to agree, man. That was definitely one of the most perfect match. We both love Io Sky and love Rhea Ripley. We can't really say enough of what they've contributed to the industry and how awesome performers and characters they are. I love the mutual respect, but they have this thing where they love to fight each other, but they have this big mutual respect of like seeing each other eye to eye as athletes and performers, that they tend to show each other such tender love and respect, but also the brutality, right? Io has beaten Rhea Ripley every single time, and Rhea wants that get back, and she almost gets it every single time, but something happens. And this time it was Naomi with the surprise roll up and got the 1, 2, 3 on her. Um, Naomi, I wanna say it's amazing to watch her go straight to the stars. It's amazing to watch her come up from this girl who was in TNA and like had, came back to the brand, was there, came back, was there, came back, but she's really having a renaissance right now. I love this new character. I think the more dangerous side of her is the better character than it is the glow. I love that she came out with her dad. Her dad was ripping. Dude could really play the guitar, and she did get lost for a second with her dad. But what a moment! What a moment to be champion and be at the first ever 2 night SummerSlam. Have your dad to play, have your big entrance. What a great moment. What a great moment. I'm glad she retained, and I'm glad we have more stories coming um, with her, because I would really love to see her keep it, and um, Tiffany Stratus keep hers, and then do Crown Jewel this year. Champion versus champion at Crown Jewel. That'd be a fun one to see again. So I love that match. Definitely on the top list in the top three of my matches for yesterday. So for the sake of time, let's keep it pushing, and let's move on to the cage match of the night and the United States Championship on the line, with the champion Solo Sikoa facing his cousin Jacob Fatu. Take it away, Jay.
Well, this was probably the only match for me that was kind of like a dud. It's kind of like just because I feel like I mean, after seeing it, I feel like this didn't need to be a steel cage match, especially with everything else on the card. We had a we had a TLC match, we had a no DQ match, and a street fight happening in the main event. So to have this steel cage be played, it was kind of like weird, the placement that it had on the card. Um, I love both talents. I love Solo. We've talked on this channel multiple times about how proud we both are about how much he has leveled up in all this time with his MFTs. And Fatu, what more can you and I say? You called this man coming in, and ever since he's come to WWE, he's taken it by storm. So he is a massive talent and so awesome in the ring, and I can't wait to see what else he does after this. And the only reason why I say that is just because I feel like there's not that there's not that much chemistry between him and Solo in the ring. There's some physicality, Solo, I think Solo dominated majority of the match. And we had some decent spots in there, including Fatu being handcuffed to the steel cage, or handcuffs, but that was hypnotized last time. But still, yeah, and being able to break out of that and catch Solo and stop him from leaving the cage, that was a nice little spot. We also had Jimmy come out, trying to help Fatu when the MFTs were trying to interfere. I can't say why we even had him come out and help when he just got taken down by Tala so fast. It doesn't really do much for the credibility of Jimmy Uso. Put some respect on that brother's name. He's trying. Um, and the spot where Tala Tonga pretty much wins Solo the match by slamming the cage door in front of Fatu's face so he can get the win. Um, I just feel like this could have been like it could have just been a regular match or another stipulation. Really didn't need to be a steel cage. Um, I do like the ending, like of how they capped it off with Fatu getting his big moonsault from the top of the cage. You know, that was pretty nice. That spot happened after the match. And I can probably say that was the best part of the match was after the match with that spot. So nothing against the two talents. I think they had an okay match, but I kind of expected more from it because of the talent that's involved. What you think?
So again, I'm gonna echo kind of what you said. For me, this unfortunately, and this is hard for me to say because I'm huge on the Samoan dynasty. This was the dud of the night easily. Like out of all the matches, maybe even the weekend, this was the dud of the night. And I love those two dudes, and I was excited that it was going to be a cage match, right? Like, what two dudes are more built for a cage match than these two guys? But the match was kind of lackluster. And like you said, they didn't have the chemistry that we really wanted them to have in the ring. We've seen them perform better together than yesterday. Solo did most of the dominating, and then Jacob had his turnaround. The MFTs came out and they did what they were gonna do, and Jimmy came out, but like you said, Talatanga knocked him down quick. So it was kind of almost a non-starter. And then just the kind of way that Solo kind of slinked out of the cage, and that was it. Um, when I was a kid back in the Attitude Era, the only way to really win that, there wasn't no open in the cage. You had to climb up the top and climb over the side. And I was expecting more of that than just to Solo ask them to open the door like 9 times and was just kind of like cheekily, like, I could walk out at any time. It wasn't really
Right,
exciting. And if they were going to add, because this is the MFTs or the bloodline, you would expect that there was going to be some good amount of like good shenanigans. But to be honest, it was kind of like predictable, whatever shenanigans. It wasn't really fun. Like, of course, the four MFTs are going to take out, the two guys that were separated, not even together. So it really didn't really make sense. It was just kind of a wash. And I don't think it really did anything for Jacob Fatu to look, big and bad. That dude is a crazy hardcore fighter, and his indie matches were insane. So he should literally be built for the cage. And like you said, he had a big spot of doing that moonsault off the top of the cage. But like WWE, it would be cool if he did it during the match and not after the match when Solo had already slinked away, you know what I mean, to leave two of his homeboys in there to just get smashed. So it was just kind of nonsensical, to be honest. You could have just not had that fight, and the PLE would have been just as good. So hopefully they'll come back to the drawing board and do something. If we're gonna have something that big, you got to give Jimmy and Jacob a team, or people. Like, you should have called Roman, or you should have called Jay, or maybe some of the other bloodline members that just have not made their way to WWE yet. But to just the 4-on-2, it was kind of lame, and it was just boring to watch Solo flop out on the floor, and that was it. Let's move on to the biggest match of the night, the main card, the undisputed WWE Championship held by Big Match John Cena versus Cody Rhodes in a street fight, no holds barred. Let us know what you thought. I know you liked this one.
oh man, I'll just say it right off the bat. This for me was the best match of the night. To me, this is like a match of the year candidate, just because, man, like the story that's been built up to this point, but specifically with just Cena's whole heel turn, uh, it kind of felt like it came full circle, and it was unexpected for me at least, just because based off him coming back and being a good guy on last Friday night during a speech. Myself and maybe were thinking, I don't know. I think he's kind of lying to Cody. I feel like he's kind of playing everybody right now, and he's going to turn. He might come out and be a good guy at first, but he'll turn. During the match, and he'll continue his title reign. And honestly, I'm happy to say that that did not happen at all. Cena wasn't lying. He wasn't playing with us. I feel like maybe he felt like we had already gotten lied to enough based off of night one. But I was tremendously happy with this match from Cody's entrance, with his special skull that he comes out with before he takes it off to go to the ring. That was cool. Um, man, the pop that John Cena got when he came out and he wasn't doing the whole walking slow title, behind his waist, towel, behind him, saying his last time. He did his classic Super Cena, the real Cena entrance. And it just filled me with so much joy and happiness as a fan just for that. And that just shows the power of this storytelling, because we've gotten this Cena for months now. And now that he's finally back, it's like we loved who he's always been. And so I absolutely loved his run to the ring. I love the mutual respect that him and Cody had while they were fighting. But man, this was definitely like the best match that they have had thus far, and definitely one of the best matches that Cena has had in years. Like, I'm talking back to 2017 when he was fighting AJ Styles and having great matches with him. This felt like that old John Cena again, and I'm so happy to say that. We had so many spots in this match. The match went from in the ring to out in the crowd. We had a spot where Cena had Cody on his shoulders and was at the start of the entrance ramp and was slowly coming up from the entrance ramp with Cody on his shoulders. And
Through the trap
before he
door.
delivered that, yes, sir, through that trap door. Yep, before he delivered that double A. Oh my goodness, bro! Like that was one of the best spots of the night for sure. I also enjoyed the match because it kind of teased a bit what people have been thinking is going to happen, which I haven't thought it, but people thought that this might be the time that Cody goes heel. We teased that a little bit, because even after he ran Cena through a table, gave him a Cody cutter, this dude wasn't staying. This dude wasn't staying down even after a crossroads. So he decides to grab one of the turnbuckles and use it to hit Cena not once but twice. And in those moments, I'm thinking to myself, "Ooh, he going to do it? He might just go bad." But again, that's them playing with us. It did not happen, and I'm actually glad that it didn't. Uh, Cody was determined. He kicked out of so many double A's, even in a double A from the top rope. And there were moments in this match where I truly did not know who was going to walk away with it. And again, I'm waiting for Cena to do the whole turn. I'm waiting for him to just hit Cody in the nuts, or hit him with the belt, something. Never happened. It was a straight, clean fight. I love the ending of the match with Cody doing a Cody cutter to Cena on through a table, and right before he delivers that final crossroads, he gives a salute to my man, and then gives him that finisher for the 1, 2, 3. And we have a new WWE champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And I would say only thing better than the match itself was the ending. Not the ending, but the ending after they had after the 1, 2, 3. Seeing these men hug it out, seeing them exchange words with each other, and it's heartfelt. Seeing Cody come damn near close to crying, if he's not crying, and Cena just taking one last look, at the crowd and just soaking it all in, because it just hits deeper, man, that this is his last year wrestling, and this is his last SummerSlam. And if this was his last SummerSlam, man, thank you, Cena. He knocked it out of the park. Like this was definitely a way to go out for your SummerSlam. We still have him for a few more months, thankfully. But I thought the match was perfect, just personally. But I'll leave the very end to you, King. What you think?
Thank you. I had a feeling you were going to do that. Uh, I was, again, my favorite match of the night. I'm just like you. This was my favorite match of the night. I was concerned. Me and you had discussed this, and we had talked off camera about, will Cena just play nice and go back to heel, and hit the low blow again, and we start from scratch. It was so nice to see Cody come out to the fanfare, even though they booed him. They booed him a little bit this go around. But the
Yeah, they did.
mask, I love the mask. I love the aura. I love the whole deal. He came out seriously ready. And then, John Cena's music hits and it's black. And I'm like, okay, we're about to do the heel turn. Then, boom, everything's bright and shiny. He comes running out. We got the Cena that I loved when he first came back. That me getting to see what everyone else fell in love with while I was out living life and not watching wrestling. I got to see a taste of that. And the running down to the ring, that funness that reminded me of when he first came back at Royal Rumble a few years ago. And it was exciting to see that effort out of him. And him and Cody really squared off properly, like they should have, and they got after it. Like you said, I mean, I couldn't even tell you right now how many crossroads or how many attitude adjustments went down yesterday. It was so many. They were giving each other, I mean, every special they had in the book. They were fighting everywhere in the building, from the ring to the audience to the curtains to the sound machine. They was everywhere. And I love that they ducked and went under the stage. And there's like a picture online that you can see Cena poking his head back out. And then they come from up under that trap door that Cody uses for his entrance. And I love that Cody looked like he was kind of playing possum. He was playing dead. And I love that he's limped for that double A right onto the floor. Fantastic. I mean, the match was killer. This was the best match that I've seen those two fight. And we've seen them fight umpteen times at this point, but hands down, the biggest match they've ever had. You definitely had a moment in there where you really didn't know which way it was going to go. I did not know. I thought there was a moment where it was going to go either way. And then, like you said, when Cody gave him the salute, I knew. I knew in that moment, cool, one more crossroads. I didn't know if he was going to hit him with the triple crossroads, but one is all we needed. And then one, two, three, boom. And like you said, the most beautiful part was the respect and admiration from those two men. Um, a little bit of the veil got dropped, a little bit of the curtain got dropped, and you can see Cena talking to him and giving him words of encouragement, probably telling him thank you for going with me on this storyline and this whole mission. And essentially what I said out loud was, oh man, he's really passing the torch. And then a few minutes later, that was trending on Twitter, passing the torch, that John Cena was officially kind of giving Cody the, like, I see you as a performer, as a friend, as another athlete, and here's the keys to the castle. Love that moment. Love that moment. And I guess partially this necessitated it, but I love that uh Cody gave him the moment to feel the crowd. He walked out, took his championship, took his, did the pyro, got his couple shots in, that whole thing that they need to. And then he left the ring for John so that John can spend his last SummerSlam getting the respect and the admiration of all of the people, screaming his name. And it was very meaningful and heartfelt. And then you would think that's the end, y'all. That's not it. And then all of a
Nope.
sudden, a guitar riff comes winding in, and Brock Lesnar, the beast incarnate, came back. He came out and he stood there for a second and he didn't miss eye contact with John Cena. He walked down the ramp, he walks around to the announcement table, takes off his hat, takes off his shirt, never breaking eye contact with John Cena, and then proceeds to dive into the ring, give one of the most hellish F5s that I have seen in a while, and stares at John while he's just out on the mat. After this knockout drag him out with Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar is back and he wants John, and they have some unfinished business So that is going to be crazy storyline. I don't think anybody, consumers of this, me, you, anybody else watching this, thought that Brock Lesnar would even come back or that they would allow him to come back. And here he is back on national TV, of course, coming back at SummerSlam like he always does. But man, how crazy is it to have the Beast back? And what they're going to do next with those two, who knows? What storyline is Cody going to get into? Who knows? But man, that PLE was fun. So let me quickly give you my final thoughts, and then we're going to let Jay get his final thoughts and then get us on out of here. I thought for me, this was a really fun PLE. I'd say for me, this was probably 7 out of 10. Fun PLE. Glad that it's the first 2 night event. There was a lot of spectacle. Could be more spectacle, but I thought it was a solid presentation, and I thought Jersey did a good job as an audience. And I think what Triple H and the gang put together was fun. So hit us with your final thoughts and take us on out, Jay.
Well, if I were to describe this PLE Night Two in one word, I'd say it'd be 4 letters, one word, uh, uh, epic. Yes, sir. This pay-per-view, I think this PLE, sorry, I think this was an all-timer. I think that night two can go down as a night that a lot of people can talk about because there was a match in there for everybody. If you weren't entertained, I don't know if you don't have a soul. But I was tremendously entertained by this PLE. I loved every single match with the exception of the one that we mentioned with Fatu and Solo, which again I hope they get better future opportunities coming up. And I'd say the only not it didn't ruin it for me, but I was just like, was the Brock Lesnar return. And nothing against him or what he's done for the business. I actually do appreciate the rivalry that him and Cena have had. I mean, Suplex City was made because of John Cena and Brock Lesnar's rivalry, so respect that. But like you said, I've just seen Brock Lesnar show up and return at so many SummerSlams. I just kind of got numb to it. I mean, I was even at SummerSlam 2021 when he returned after the match between Roman Reigns and John Cena. That was big. I was like, wow. But now I just kind of felt like a retreading of that. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. Cool. It's nice to know the plan for John Cena now after this, and I can't wait to see what they do. But again, man, excellent PLE. Great night two. Shout out to all the talent involved. And again, thank you, Cena, for everything you have done for us in the business. And I hope the rest of your year is excellent, my friend. So to all of you, thank you for listening this far into the review. Thank you for all the love and the support. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe, and comment as well. We love to hear from you guys, and we love to talk back. So until the next PLE, stay nerdy, my friends.